Hachimama, hello and welcome to the Skrull Search here on the Breakroom. I'm Brandon Barrick, and each week, myself and guests will be pitching who we think may be revealed to be a Skrull on the Secret Invasion series on Disney+. Cool. Brought to you by Marvel.
What?
And also Disney.
And also Disney.
And also Marvel.
And also Marvel. It's implied. It's all implied. Joining me today on this esteemed panel of Skrull Searchers, to my left, camera right, we have Danielle Radford.
Hi, it's me. This is what my face looks like.
Prove it. She could be a Skrull. She could be a Skrull.
It would just be me changing into a different wig. Oh. Like that's my superpower.
Oh. And to my right, camera left, we have Hector Navarro.
Oh, good day, mate. So glad to be here talking about the Skrulls, mate.
Oh.
That's my Mendo impression.
That's your Mendo? Is
one.
Mendo Australian?
Yeah, mate.
He's confirmed Australian? He's not secretly a Kiwi from New Zealand?
No, he's Australian. I don't know the difference, but I know that he says.
Oh,
I know
don't
that
tell him that.
his
Well, there's two
nickname
separate
is-
countries. That's
No,
the biggest
I
difference.
do know that.
Oh,
But
okay.
I can't, with my American ears, hear the difference in the accent unless the Kiwi is specifically like made of rocks, in which case I can tell they're from New
Well, that's
Zealand.
how you can.
Oh, okay.
That's how
It's
you-
more of an E.
It's that kind
It's
of.
more of an
noise?
E. Yeah.
E?
I in my lifetime I've been lucky enough to have good friends from both places, and it's a little bit more of an E.
Gotcha.
Like if you ever watch Our Flag Means Death.
Yes.
Eid.
Eat.
Eid.
Eat.
It's more of a that.
Well, if you're watching us right now on Twitch, or maybe you're watching the replay on YouTube or something like that, and you're from Australia or New Zealand, turn your phone upside down and give us a call and tell us how wrong we are about all of this.
Very wrong.
As we dive into our Skrull Search today, the three of us have each prepared a folder chock full of evidence. Well, to be honest, the folder has a photo, and the evidence is all up here, of who we think might be a Skrull. And we're going to try and convince each other, and more importantly, will we be able to convince you of who a secret Skrull is on this show, Secret Invasion?
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to give us that many Skrulls on this show, or by the end of the show, are they going to be like, this one person was a Skrull?
Honest question.
Honest question.
I think that this show will end with some pretty major revelations of the larger Marvel Cinematic Universe that we won't have paid off within this show.
Yeah.
But it might be like, we'll see you in the next big movie, or we might address it in the Marvels, or we might address it in another season of Secret Invasion Season 2, maybe following the events of some other MCU movies.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen. I think it's possible.
It just ends
What
with
about you?
the Skrulls will return.
The Skrulls will return. I think a
Skrulls
nice,
never left.
a nice moment of dramatic irony where the audience knows something that our heroes
Yeah.
I
don't
like that,
know would
yeah.
be lovely. Like going forward, something like that.
Yeah.
Could be a lot of fun. I think the show will end with like a montage set to me and Julio down by the schoolyard, where they just show everyone that's been a Skrull the whole time, like freeze frame style. We'll see We'll see Benjamin Bratt playing basketball, Skrull. Like all that kind of stuff.
Benjamin
Pangborn.
Bratt's in this franchise.
Pangborn is definitely a Skrull. He was injured as a Skrull, had the problems, learned magic, then had it taken away by Baron Mordo, and is still a Skrull.
As a Skrull?
That's
not
my
your argument.
That's not my argument
Okay.
today, though. I'll kick us off today. All right.
Okay.
And give you my. This is Skrull submission number 1.
Okay.
Your Honor. This is not a courtroom, but Your Honor. I would
No.
like to submit this as evidence.
It's a
Okay.
detective's office.
Now this is one I think people have talked about. I've mentioned it many times before on the channel. If you've been around, you heard it. You might have seen it before. Okay. Here's my pick to be revealed as a Skrull on this show.
Okay.
Here it is. Someone we know. Someone we love.
Love dearly.
It is the happiest of Hogans.
Wow.
Happy Hogan
Okay.
will be revealed to be a Skrull. Now, I'm going to put a caveat on here, okay? He's not an evil Skrull. He's a good Skrull. He's a nice Skrull.
Then why would he be a Skrull?
Because it's important to know that this man is a Skrull. And here's what I'm going to tell you, too, okay? He's been a Skrull the entire time. The entire time.
Since maybe the year 2008, since Iron Man 1.
Before that, okay?
Since 1999, when he had the long
Yes.
hair and the flashback in Iron Man
Yes. What we know about Happy Hogan is that he used to be a boxer, adorable.
True.
It's his character from Friends carried over. He was a boxer, and then he becomes friends with Tony.
Yeah.
Becomes Tony's like bodyguard driver, and then the first record of him in the MCU is that flashback in Iron Man 3 to 1999. Where he's hanging out, he's got a mullet, fun party times. That man was already a Skrull. The man that Tony Stark met was a Skrull.
You know, Happy Hogan, if we're drawing from past things that this man has already done, it is very fair to say that he went to one of those like swingers parties where everyone was doing all the Lindy dancing.
The movie swingers?
Yeah, and just like he Lindy danced and changed his face and off we go, and who would know?
Oh, he went in as a Skrull and came out as Jon Favreau?
Yeah.
I like that.
Chandler bowling shirt and all.
Okay, I like that. Now, here's my biggest piece of evidence, okay?
Okay.
I believe in the comic books, Happy Hogan turned out to be a Skrull. Or no, it was Jarvis turned out to be a Skrull.
Yeah, maybe.
But Jarvis kind of has the Happy Hogan role in the MCU. Okay?
Yes.
Now, I want you to remember back to a little film called Captain Marvel, when we first met the Skrulls here in the MCU.
They arrived in the year 1995, as far as we know.
As far as we know.
90s.
Talos, 90s. Talos and a few other Skrulls come out of the water.
Okay.
And we get that moment where they see the woman with the surfboard.
Yeah.
Talos becomes said woman. Surfboard, though in theory he could have made the surfboard.
I have so many questions about that.
Okay. And then one of the other Skrulls tries to take the form, and he's like, "No, this body's taken. This body's taken, mate.
This one's
I
taken.
get to be this lady." Okay. Now I want you to keep that moment in your mind. She's carrying a surfboard. Blah blah blah. We skip ahead to Far From Home. Spider-Man: Far From Home. Okay.
Yeah.
Happy Hogan tries to call Nick Fury, who is later revealed to be Talos, right?
True.
To warn them about Mysteria, right? And he calls Sam Jackson and calls Nick Fury, and he says, "This in the movie they were moving a bunch of Iron Man stuff. Iron Man, spoiler alert, is dead at this point.
Correct.
They're moving a bunch of his stuff out. That's like a part of the thing.
Yeah.
And Happy Hogan calls Nick Fury to say that we were moving a bunch of stuff, and they found this surfboard, and they said it was Nick Fury's." And or I said it was yours, and they said no, Nick Fury doesn't surf, and I said appearances could be deceiving. Now that was the MacGuffin later revealed, right? That like he says appearances can be deceiving, and that's how Nick Fury, aka Talos, knew something that was up with Mysterio.
Wow. So you're saying
I'm saying the word surfboard was a code word.
Scroll code.
Well,
From one Skrull to another,
Yeah.
Happy Hogan is like, look, I know not only am I trying to give you as Nick Fury some info,
right,
but I know you're Talos as well, and nobody else knows
and our safe word is surfboard.
Surfboard.
Look,
that's the first thing we saw on Earth.
Just like on Beyonce self-titled, the word surfboard turns out to hold a lot more weight than you would think it does.
Penis.
Exactly.
Penis.
Beyonce fans.
And if you remember in the movie Captain Marvel,
right?
If we're talking about penis and Skrull penis, when Talos took that form of the S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., R. Keller,
still alive, as far as we know,
suspiciously close to R. Kelly, and I don't like it, but he takes the form of R. Keller, and they go to the autopsy of the Skrull who was taking the place of Phil Coulson, and that was the first one Nick Fury saw. They're in the morgue or the autopsy room, whatever. And Mendelsohn is a Skrull, but pretending to be the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. With a young Nick Fury. They're talking, and then they both kind of look at each other like, are you thinking what I'm thinking? And they're both thinking the same thing. And then they lift the sheet to look at his dick.
Yeah.
And then they kind of look at each other like, whoa, like, didn't expect that. As a little joke to be like, I'm pretending to be human, and I'm human, and we're looking at an alien's junk. So maybe go, again, surfboard. Bring it back. That becomes the code word. Maybe Skrull's penises look like human surfboards.
Right. Maybe they do.
I'm trying to think of the math on that.
Now
I don't like it.
Like I said, Happy Hogan is a Skrull on the
Goes
side
from
of
boogie
good.
to surf. That's what happens.
Either way, you're grinding on that wood.
No.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh no.
You can best us.
I like it.
That's why he's called Happy Hogan.
Happy Hogan. So yeah, I think he's a good Skrull. Okay, I think Nick Fury.
He's a Talos ally.
He's a Talos ally. He's a Nick Fury ally. Nick Fury got him in there next to Tony Stark on purpose. He needs to be close to the heir apparent of Stark Industries.
Okay, but to be fair, as far as we know, you may be onto something though, because in 1999 he was still 10-something years away from being Iron Man. Right. Nick Fury, we knew, took a special interest in Tony Stark after he escaped from Afghanistan in this rocket-powered suit, and he was like, "Oh, that dude has some advanced technology. We got to keep tabs on this."
But he built in a cave.
Yeah, that he built in a cave with, we all know,
a box of scraps.
But before that, Howard Stark was instrumental to S.H.I.E.L.D. history.
True story.
Right? To like sci-fi MCU Earth development and history. Howard Stark was there. So maybe Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D. were always sort of keeping tabs on the Stark family.
Most definitely.
Right? So maybe to position a friendly ally Skrull to be like, we have a Truman level show job for you. Not only you're going undercover, you're basically going to be this guy forever.
And he became Tony Stark's friend.
Hogan.
He was happy to be Tony Stark's friend. He gets to hook up with Aunt May. It's going great for him as a Skrull.
That eventually did happen. You're right.
He gets to take care of Peter Parker. He's a good Skrull person. When in Iron Man 2, when they first introduced Natasha Romanoff, he has to lose that fight on purpose because he's a Skrull. He's very strong. Yep. And he very smartly plays it weak, and he loses that fight on purpose. Okay.
In like 2 seconds.
Yeah, he's a good Skrull. He's a Skrull, but it will be revealed in the show. I think they get Favreau to show up. Also, you get outside of the show, right? Very easy to get Favreau on Disney+.
He's already on the line.
He's at the volume every day. He's at the Void every day.
He's at the Void, the volume. He's doing Mando. You're right.
He's doing Mando. They got him digitally scanned.
Look, he'll wind up being like Gwyneth Paltrow, who'll be like, I was just on a set and it was great. I don't even know what movie this was.
He filmed this cameo 5 years ago, and they're ready to show it.
Okay.
He will be confirmed to be a Skrull.
It's honestly
good Skrull.
I feel like you kind of brought this up almost as like a joke to this
department. It's not a joke.
But let me tell you what. You've done the research.
Surfboard.
You've brought in the history of the Stark importance, right? And the significance of Happy Hogan. I think I'm on board now.
On board?
I think I'm honestly
on board.
Because not all Skrulls are bad. This is a good Skrull.
Yeah.
He's a good Skrull.
Okay.
He's a good Skrull.
Or at least a government Skrull.
He's on the government payroll. Is a government Skrull a good Skrull? I don't know.
Okay, so final verdict.
Do you like that idea?
Do
you buy it?
I could buy that. I could buy Happy being a Skrull.
I could also buy that. I could also buy it. Good work. Good work.
Let's see what the chat has to say about this insane theory I have. The Real Tree 14 saying Brandon has been a Skrull all season long. What are you talking about? Not a Skrull. Not a Skrull. Christian Unpronounceable says, "Hi Brandon, happy Monday. Hi Hector and Danielle." Hi. Donkey Teeth Bites say, "I'll say they need a way to detect Skrulls, and we get Reed Richards' name dropped." That's a valid point.
That's also possible.
If the government doesn't have a way to track Skrulls at this point, Nick Fury's known about this for so long. If they don't have like a way to track Skrulls, or at least detect one.
I think to go off of what was that? Donkey Teeth Bites? No, who said that comment? Yeah,
it was Donkey Teeth Bites.
To go off of that, I think that Shield / Nick Fury / the governments of the world do if they know about Skrulls, but
they don't want to share the tech.
Secret Invasion Episode 1, we had Emilia Clarke say Skrulls who remain in their form for longer become harder to detect by humans and Skrulls alike.
Yeah.
So Donkey Teeth Bites might be onto something of like this is how you bring in the Reed Richards, and then you go back to the last time I think we saw a Skrull. Not chronologically, but release date-wise, was at the end of the show WandaVision.
Correct.
And in WandaVision, Monica Rambeau had a name drop, but she didn't drop the name, but she said, I know the scientist, I know the perfect guy who could design this vehicle we need to get into this Scarlet Witch membrane. Yeah. I still believe that scientist is Reed Richards. So maybe this could be another confirmation of like, calling up Richards, you designed that vehicle to get into WandaVision. We need a Skrull detector. And that could be it.
Also, I mean, Monica Rambeau, all space stuff.
That's true, because at the end of that, Skrull said we recruit. Yep. And I think she's going to be on the Saber.
Do you think she could see Skrulls, and that's why they got her off the planet with her weird? She sees the different spectrums. Yeah. Wow. I was like, what's the word?
Different spectrums. Photons seeing the spectrums. Donkey Teeth Bites. Let us know. Can Monica see Skrulls?
Monica sees those Skrulls. I did like in the comics for Secret Invasion. It was like a device they had that made them like turn back into a Skrull, right?
Yes, because it was
very dramatic.
Exactly the same to the MCU. In the Secret Invasion comic book, Skrulls had developed new ways to, again, already existing Skrull detectors. So in the Secret Invasion main series, when Reed Richards is talking to Hank Pym, and Hank Pym just all of a sudden goes, and pulls up like an energy weapon, and he's like, I'm a Skrull, sorry, and then blasted him into some goo. It was a few issues later that Reed showed back up with like this cool-looking bazooka-looking thing, and then he blasted it to the whole group of imposters, and then all of them were revealed. So Reed had to like reinvent a new thing, but same circumstances could mean
same circumstances.
New big old. We're not gonna have an actor show up as Reed Richards with a big bazooka thing, but the name drop could happen.
You think we'll get a name drop?
Yeah, I think it's possible.
Okay. The Real Tree 14 saying, what if Nick Fury were a Skrull all along, who actually believed he was Nick Fury? And the major event of the show is finding the real Nick Fury. if this man's been Nick Fury the whole time and the real Nick Fury
then he's
just,
earned it. He's
like lives on a farm, we don't need the real Nick Fury.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
not real Nick Fury sucks.
Let him Battlestar Galactica.
I was
Like,
going to say,
let
this is
him-
very Battlestar Galactica, where
Yeah.
you don't know that you're a Cylon.
Yeah.
Like, that's a little intense for me.
Yeah, that's maybe too much for the 8-year-old children that are Marvel fans watching Secret Invasion. I'm like, what?
Just go to the bathroom and check your surfboard.
How do I know I'm alive?
Green or not. 616 Kaner saying, my safe word is surfboard. Funny enough.
Good to know. Do you use the T at the end?
Oh, okay.
No, that's the unsafe word. You know? That safe word, surfboard, soft D. Surfboard, soft D.
That's when it gets real. LOL Suffocate saying, are there any times when Happy realistically would have had to have outed himself if he were? I don't think so. Did Happy get dusted? Did we know about Happy?
Happy did not get dusted.
Did not get dusted. He lived through it all.
I don't know if we saw post-dust Happy Hogan and a pre-everyone come back Happy Hogan, the way we saw other characters kind of hanging around. But according to the Marvel, the Endgame posters that they released, with every single head character had like a little one-shot poster of their head. The ones that were dusted were in black and white. And the ones that were still alive in the 5 years were in color, like Rocket Raccoon, Nebula was in color, but like Mantis was in black and white. So and Jon Favreau's was in color.
Okay.
So he was not dusted, according to those posters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, before we get past Happy Hogan and onto these other two random guesses, it's Secret Invasion season, folks, if you can't tell by the show. And the easiest way to let people know you're not a Skrull, or maybe make them think that you're not a Skrull, is to pick up some merch from Nerd Riot's new Secret Invasion collection. Ooh, look at this. Totally not a Skrull. Whoa.
That's a good one.
We also have... There's another
Sounds
Skrull
like something a
shirt.
Skrull
I
would
dropped
say.
it. Oh, brother. Dead air. We got this lovely shirt here.
I love that one.
Kind of
I
like
love
a
that
Nick
one.
Fury, one last fight. Is he a Skrull? I don't know. And if you don't want the Secret Invasion shirts, we got this lovely like Barbie / Oppenheimer shirt.
The
You can see
nuclear
explosion.
mushroom cloud.
Little combo shirt.
Speaking of nuclear mushroom cloud,
You got a nuclear mushroom cloud.
Indiana Jones.
Oh, I love you, Indy.
This is great. We've got the short round hat on here. This makes this shirt honestly makes me emotional, and I love it.
Don't cry.
It's my
Don't
favorite
cry.
thing about
It's
Indiana
okay.
Jones is short round. So yeah.
Get ready for your June and July movies and TV shows with all the awesome merch over at nerdriot.shop. And shopping at Nerd Riot is one of the best ways to support our channel, folks. So join the riot over at nerdriot.shop. That slogan is problematic. We got to get them to change it. We've got to get them to change it. All right, Hector, I want you to give me your pick for a secret Skrull.
Detectives.
You've got.
Detectives, I've got some damning evidence I want you to take a look at. The evidence, like you said, is in here. But here's the picture
Give me the
to
picture.
let everybody know who is my Skrull #1 most likely suspect. Folks, I want you to take a look at this woman right here. This woman right here.
That's a good
I
pick.
really had to look. I thought Tom Oso for a second. It's just the photo. It's no one's fault. But I
Oh,
was like,
hi, Danielle. Hi.
I am not the
did
Skrull.
not.
I am not.
Oh, hi. No, this is the beautiful
Yes.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus,
Oh, okay.
a.k.a. Elaine from Seinfeld, a.k.a. Veep herself, a.k.a.
Christine.
Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine.
Ooh, okay.
Here is my theory, and then I'm going to get into one piece of evidence that I really want you guys to chew on. But my theory here is that the entire time we have seen the Contessa Valentina, Val, and remember, she first appeared. Now, things were a little switched up out of order with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The global pandemic kind of shuffled things around. She was originally supposed to appear first in the movie Black Widow, which was supposed to come out first before the TV show The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Correct.
But then things got moved, so we first meet her in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and she kind of introduces herself to John Walker, a.k.a. Wyatt Russell. My theory is that the entire time that we have seen her in the MCU, which has all been post-Endgame, she has been a Skrull. Okay? And let me tell you why. I think that theory-wise, this is not a piece of evidence yet, but theory-wise, we have got a character who, in the comic books, let's go back to that for a second, has a long and significant history with Nick Fury, the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. She was sort of his main squeeze, if you will. She was there in the sort of the early days of the spy, swinging 60s, Jim Steranko era of S.H.I.E.L.D. And she's somebody who she's almost like a Dum-Dum Dugan, but basically just like a high-ranking, human, very capable officer of S.H.I.E.L.D. And because of that, when you're in S.H.I.E.L.D. that high up, I mean, like, feel like level 10, whatever they quantify that as, you get access to government, you get access to this and that. And I think that when they brought this character into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, first of all, I think they cast the perfect actor for this.
Great.
And I feel like for two reasons. Number one, everybody on the planet loves Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Sure.
True story.
Sure.
She is a great actor, but she's also so damn funny. It's like impressive how she can take I'm not saying they're like nothing scenes, but these scenes written that like you wouldn't like other actors would not be able to pull from those very straightforward lines between like her and John Walker or her and Yelena talking about, well, I want you to go kill Hawkeye. These little scenes, and she's able to take so much of them and get these really great funny moments. So already the audience is endeared to her. But secondly, she's coming hot off of Veep, where she's playing this incredibly important political figure. Eventually she becomes president of the United States, right?
Right, yes.
In American politics. So I feel like those two things are what audiences kind of have her as in our brains as she's stepping into the MCU. So making her versus like Julia Louis-Dreyfus could have played in Eternal, or do you know what I'm saying?
She could have been Ajax.
She could have been Ajax, or she could but they're specifically being like, we want you to be Valentina. We want you to be this almost like counterpart to Nick Fury. Maybe she knows Nick. Maybe she has a relationship there. But so far from what we learned, that hasn't been the case as far as we know.
Sure.
But she is that level of like, maybe she'll be almost like a new Samuel Jackson in these movies and TV shows where she keeps kind of popping up and so on and so forth. So anyway, the theory here is...
And she does have like that existing relationship with Ross.
Exactly. And the theory is that when audiences learn she's coming into this, we root for her, but at the same time we're like, okay, she's an important political person.
Okay.
And as far as we know too, she's like a good guy. But then again, she has this side to her that you go, wait a minute, I don't know if we can fully trust her, because she recruited the psycho Captain America. She's went and talked to the second Black Widow, Yelena, and specifically sent her to kill an Avenger.
Yeah.
And then thirdly, we know that she did some stuff I'm not a fan of in Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
She did steal some proprietary technology. Sure.
And she did it all, but she did it all in this guise of like, very like diplomatically, you know, when she's in the conference room and Ross is like, you can't invade Wakanda, and she's like, I think he's the expert, like doing this stuff where like, what are you implying, what are you saying? Eventually arrests Ross, maybe because, well, for whatever reasons. But I think that this is the perfect character to introduce, get audiences to be suspicious of her, reveal she is a Skrull. And then afterwards, you still have Julia Louis-Dreyfus to return and play the human version of that character. Now you get an extra third shade of the character, which is now you have to pick up the pieces of your life. Now you have to deal with the public at large, maybe after the events of the Thunderbolts, which she's going to be a part of. Yes. She's recruiting the Thunderbolts. Now you have to deal with people like not trusting your face, your human face, that you can't change or anything. And I think that this could be a great long game character. But here's my piece of evidence, going back to the relationship with Ross. Now, some people have said, wouldn't it be funny if both her and Ross were Skrulls and they didn't know it, Mr. and Mrs. Smith? I don't think so. I think Everett Ross has been a human, and he was the human character that we've met and known in Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. But my piece of evidence is the fact that she seemed to, according to Ross, go so much further than she had previously in there, right? That he was surprised at her actions. He was surprised. He's like, you can't do this. Val, you what are you doing? And she's like, it's Director DeFontaine. Like, and pulled out, handcuffs and arrested him. And earlier when she says, there's some things I wanted to apologize to you about that I said during our marriage.
Okay.
I think that Valentina DeFontaine would never apologize for the things that she said. I think that Julia Louis-Dreyfus could play a version of this character who, when she comes back as the human version, that Ross is like, oh, there you are. This is who I know. But the fact that the Skrull was trying to apologize and kind of make goody-goody with Ross makes me feel like she's trying to play every angle. She's really trying to get in with whatever access or status Ross has. And maybe because Ross is so in with the Wakandans, that's where she was trying to do. So even though this is a character that we don't have, I'm claiming we don't have like a earlier human version to compare and contrast to. I think the compare and contrast comes from Everett K. Ross when he was like, "You want to apologize for stuff we said?" Like, that's it. That's the signal right there. Skrull.
That's your Skrull signal.
That's it.
Now, so you're saying too that like it was the human version of Val already working for the government and she slipped in, or was she just like a lady at Walmart?
No. I think
Skrull took her personality and got a job at the CIA.
I think absolutely the reason that
This person was picked.
just like Happy Hogan was like, we learned eventually in his life, you're in a pretty important position.
Yeah.
You're right next to Tony Stark, who became very important to Earth. Val, a human Val, before Endgame, her whole life has always been a high-ranking SHIELD person or CIA person. Somebody who's already working their way up. And the fact that in Thunderbolts, we know that she's going to appear in Thunderbolts, maybe does that mean she's working closely with the upcoming president, Thunderbolt Ross, Thaddeus Ross, played by Harrison Ford? So she's got access. She's a high-ranking government official in the United States government. That's why the Skrulls singled her out and the Skrulls decided to replace her. And I think we're going to find out in the show, at the end of the show, when the same way that Everett Ross, episode 1, gets killed, is revealed as a Skrull. Does that mean that the Skrulls have Everett Ross the human in one of those fracking pods, that they have him captive?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, so, but we do know that they have to keep some humans alive and around,
sometimes.
like that dude who was Americans against Russia.
Right.
They kept
the guy who ran the art dealer.
Yes.
Like, why did they keep that guy?
So I think at the end of episode 6, that Fury, Talos, the good guys, are basically going to, maybe with the help of Emilia Clarke's character, are basically going to stop the bad guy Skrulls and then free humans that were captured, just like in the Secret Invasion comic book. Just like in the comic book, Val's gonna, they're gonna pan over and Val's gonna be there.
And she's gonna be like, fine, I'll do it myself.
Yeah, and then she's gonna put her hand in a glove.
She's gonna put her hand in a glove.
Yeah, but I think she will.
Think she's
she will
Gravik
actually,
aligned?
I think. Oh yeah.
You think she's on the side of Gravik?
Yes. Because Gravik, I think, is trying to do stuff in big ways, and is going to be using as many sort of high-ranking human beings that they can replicate, Skrulls can replicate. So I think that she will make an actual appearance. We're going to pan over, and the real Val is going to come. Like, they're going to kill. No, the real Val is going to come up, which is then going to reveal that maybe in a future movie like the Thunderbolts, that Val is a Skrull, but the human Val is like trying to like get her life back or something, or then the Skrull is going to have to go into hiding, and then Val will be given this position like, and now you get to help President Thaddeus Ross, and it'll be Julia Louis-Dreyfus, human Skrull. So yeah, but I'm saying I think she's going to actually physically appear in a show in a pod. Pod's going to open. Julia Louis-Dreyfus is going to come up, and it's going to confirm, and people are going to go, "Oh,
she should be happy
this whole time."
Her Skrull had upward momentum. Got her as the director of the CIA.
It's true.
What's wrong with that?
Also was being really, really shady. Like really shady Skrull.
I agree. I mean, come on.
Gravik
Skrull's got
Skrull's
it.
MO.
I think this Skrull has like Stockholm syndrome. They love America now. They're like, I don't really like what Gravik's up to. I'd like to keep things the way they are. I just want to keep my position of power.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if there's one thing that Skrull learned, it was accountability. If she's willing to talk about what happened in their marriage, that Skrull has learned the lesson of accountability.
That is true. She realized I did like having a husband.
Maybe more
loved
than-
his surfboard.
maybe
Now,
more than a real Val.
You think there's a Val in a fracking pod? I don't think there's a Happy Hogan in a fracking pod anywhere.
Okay.
I think this man was killed
Just-
$1 Million Baby style during a fight, and like a Skrull just took his form. Why? I mean, that's a good side question I have. Why are they keeping so many people alive? Is it because it's a Disney show and they don't want to say like the Skrulls are murdering people? Because wouldn't it make more
I think
sense?
it's also because it leaves opportunities for the actors in case you want to bring someone back.
I guess
It's just
so.
It's just an easy.
I mean, I was talking with producer John. We were kind of theorizing, like, if you're the art dealer, right?
Yeah,
Why are they keeping the art dealer?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
you
yeah.
see him before you see him.
Yeah.
They have him in a fracking pod. But then that one Skrull died. But I guess in theory, well, someone else has got to be the art dealer now. Go take his memories.
Right.
Maybe you need to freshen up on memories. It's hard to get them all in one go.
Yeah, you're saying like Skrulls are like flash drives, and
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
lose one, it's like shoot, and you just have to go back to
You gotta
your
go back to
computer
the
and
master
download
file.
the same.
Yeah.
I think that
If
honestly
you have a
might
recent
be,
save.
Yeah, that might be the in-universe reason. I mean, obviously the production reason. Danielle nailed it. That's why
Yeah.
you want these actors
You gotta
to
bring 'em back.
have
You
the
gotta bring 'em
opportunity.
back.
But the in-universe reason is going to be like, well, that Skrull died. Next
Yep.
up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think Ross is in a fracking pod?
Ross, as in no.
Martin Freeman's character? Yeah.
Martin Freeman's character. I do not. I firmly think that he is being somewhere hidden in Wakanda.
He's just like in Wakanda. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
some
I think you
Skrull
might be right.
Just took his
did
look.
it. Yeah, and just like we got to improvise. I don't
And
have
that's why
memories.
Yeah.
That's why Prescott,
Yeah.
not Prescott, Prescott
Was like,
was
oh,
so could tell. He was like he wasn't pulling off the Ross
Yeah.
all the way.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
I like that.
Okay.
I like that. That makes sense. That makes
Let's
sense.
see what
Okay.
the chat had to say.
Okay.
We asked them if they're a Skrull. Is the chat a Skrull? Is that the question? Okay. Well,
Not-
58% yes. said
Not helpful
yes.
at all. Not helpful
So
at
they're
all.
either not good at saying that they're not Skrulls or they're bluffing us out. I don't know.
Exactly. Not helpful.
Blake likes the Ducks said that lady would have bullied me in school 10 years ago.
And you
Which
would have
lady?
liked
This
it.
lady?
and you would have liked
Oh
it.
yeah.
Yeah, I would have. She could bully me right now.
bully me.
You
Step
kidding
on
me?
me, please.
Jimmy
Yeah.
_Lab said, do Skrulls morphed into humans age naturally, or do they have to consciously change their features? I actually thought about this.
Yeah.
Because I was like, do they have to like think I gotta age up a little bit today? I gotta add a little more gray hair
Oh,
to my
that's a
look?
great question. Oh, that's a great question. I mean,
Right?
if they're playing the long game,
Yeah, you'd have to.
Because they've already had to take like Gaia, who we saw as a child in
Yeah.
the 90s,
Yeah.
and make her at least adult age. But humans, you know, we age up pretty quick and then we kind of plateau for a while. We continue to age, but
Yeah.
like our,
Yeah.
we don't get much taller after we hit puberty and, stuff.
and the first episode of Secret Invasion did establish when Talos was like, I'm not even 40 yet.
I'm not even
So it's
halfway
like,
there.
okay, so Skrulls age slower.
Slowly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
And then
long.
along with like the super strength
Right.
and
But
Yeah,
both
yeah.
Gravik and Gaia got to adult
Right,
Skrull
and-
size.
right,
Well, in theory, we
right,
haven't
yeah.
seen them as Skrulls yet.
Right,
They could still
right.
be little children.
Yeah.
I guess when they turn
kinda
into
wanna see that.
Skrulls.
But I
Because they can change
imagine,
their height. and stuff.
I imagine,
in charge. This is war.
I don't like all the humans. I put a lot of sugar in my teeth when I'm a child.
I have to imagine that Skrulls that are doing this maybe are just like, all right, I'm going to be 30 years old. And then if 5 years, 10 years into it, if they're still human, they have to wait till another human goes, you look great.
You look great.
for your age. And then they're like, yeah, thanks. And you go, oh, crap. And then they do go home and they go, salt and pepper, sideburns.
They all
Yeah.
read Cosmo about aging, and they're like,
Well, I mean, it probably they
Humans are
do one of
frail.
those yassifies where you can do it
Oh.
and make yourself look older,
oh yeah, or maybe they get like
and then like they just base their face off of that.
they get a
Yeah.
filter on Instagram, and they're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna age up a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah,
just
a
a
little
little
bit.
bit.
A little bit.
Good question.
Great
We don't
question.
know. Null and Void said her and Thunderbolt Ross are definitely going to become the masterminds behind Dark Reign.
Okay, that's a great comment.
I
That's a
love
great
it.
comment
I
because
love it.
I want to bring up Dark Reign for a second.
Okay,
Dark Reign
here
was
we
the
go.
name of the sort of Marvel Comics like brand or the
Yeah, it was a
era
multi
after
comic
Secret
event.
Invasion.
Yeah.
And the head of that was
So many teams.
So, yeah, they had the Dark Avengers, the Dark X-Men. Everybody was dark.
Everyone was dark.
Spider-Man put on a black costume.
We were in
He's
our
like, I'm dark.
feelings.
But the head of that in the comics was sort of Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin,
Yes.
the head of the Thunderbolts at the time. But ain't no Norman Osborn in the MCU thus far. So maybe that could be the case. Maybe
I
this
think
could
they
also
do
be a
that-
way to
they-
bring in Norman Osborn.
Well,
don't
we
you
know.
think?
Word on the street is Justin Hammer's coming back in Armor Wars.
Oh, great.
That's
call.
your Norman Osborn, baby.
Well, here's the
Put
thing.
Justin Hammer in an Iron Man suit.
No, I don't want that.
I
Let me tell
want
you
it.
why. No, I don't want it because I want Justin Hammer to be a silly goose goof.
No, I want him evil.
I want him to be a silly goose goof.
I think I
bad
can
guy.
do both. I
You think
he
you can do
I
both?
think he can do that. Look, I just watched Fast 10.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Jason Momoa is such a perfect example of being such a weird little jokery, silly goof who is also incredibly terrifying.
You're right.
I think that he could do both.
If you're bringing up Fast X, Danielle, you got me convinced. Let's have Sam Rockwell do that. Let's show him Fast X and go,
Okay.
you're Justin Hammer
Just do
again,
that.
but do that.
Do that.
Okay.
And then put you in an Iron Patriot suit and lead the Dark Avengers.
That's what I want.
Kind of okay with that,
That's
honestly.
what I want. America, baby.
Sure.
That's
okay.
what I like.
Okay.
That's what I
okay.
like.
Okay.
616 Kaner saying the entire Thunderbolts team are Skrull-spicious.
Yeah, and that lineup has maybe shifted around.
If you're scrolling as Bucky Barnes, do you have to? Do they chop your arm off? Do you unscroll
No.
your arm and then they put a
Ooh.
metal arm on?
No, I think that just like with the surfboard, you just make it.
Just make it.
You just make electronics in your body.
Make
Okay.
the electronic-
I don't know how that works.
and you
Well,
have
the
to,
Skrulls-
he's just whispering like gear noises, like
just watching Transformers trying to like get there.
It's possible. I mean, in the comics, the Skrulls can be non-organic stuff. They can
I
make
don't
weapons out of their body.
I have
That's
so
my
many-
question.
yeah.
Like, if this
Yeah.
is a Skrull, are these glasses real,
No,
or is that
no,
Skrull
no,
glass?
no, no, no,
Skrull
no.
glasses technology?
Those are classes.
Okay.
Because she's living the life.
Well,
Because Val
sometimes-
is in a fracking pod. She's she's got an apartment in Virginia. Like it's the full thing. So she's got a wardrobe. She gets
Okay.
human money, human paycheck. Yes.
Because when the
That's
art
too much
dealer,
work. That's
when
too
our,
much
when our
work.
favorite Skrull, the art
Yes.
dealer died, his suit stayed
Yeah.
a suit. It
Yeah.
didn't change back.
Yeah.
But
It's-
we've seen
it's-
like Gaia change her whole outfit.
True, but that's because that's in the moment, right? When the Skrulls landed on the beach and they took their surf, it's like
Right.
you don't have time to go and pretend to be. Hi,
Well-
I'm so and so. Can I
God,
please
that's
buy
gotta be
a?
so weird. You feel all your flaps flapping in the wind if you're wearing like a shirt that's open.
Right. Well,
And it's like, oh, my flaps.
If you watch that scene from Captain Marvel when they're on the beach and they
Yeah.
take the surfboard, there's like a glowing purple thing in their shoulder that like the suit kind of goes into and then the new clothes kind of come out of. It's like a weird little piece of nanotech.
So you're saying that Skrull wardrobe
It's like a whole separate part of technology.
Also has the
Yes.
ability to shape shift.
Yeah. Otherwise, when they take their jacket off, it's peeling off their skin.
Yeah,
or
right.
That's
something
what I'm
like that.
saying.
Right.
Because we see Talos take his jacket off.
Right, unless again they have a full human wardrobe, like they're just.
This is too much work.
No,
Too much work. Aaron_Storm said, now if Val had said, quote, I want to apologize for taking your surfboard, we'd know for sure. If one more person says surfboard, I'm going to lose my freaking mind, dude. That is the word. Okay. That is the word. That's the code word.
That's the word. All right.
That's the code word. Okay, Danielle, we've belabored it long enough.
Okay.
All right.
We've got to get to your Skrull suspect.
I certainly hope this isn't one that's going to break my heart.
Oh, it's gonna break all of our hearts. All right, so for this one, I was thinking a lot like you, that I wanted it to be someone who had been around, who has access to power, but isn't necessarily like the power themselves.
Okay.
Right.
So I chose Luis.
Oh, no! Oh, no!
What?
Okay,
Oh, no!
so think, right?
Okay.
Luis, he wasn't in the last movie.
The last Ant-Man
The
movie.
last Ant-Man
right.
movie, he was not in there. Think about what we know Luis for doing. Being incredibly attentive and giving extremely detailed descriptions
Speaking
of
quickly.
things.
Yes.
You're right.
So that in and of itself, having someone around who is able to be that observant and then be able to communicate what they've seen is a fantastic thing for a Skrull spy to be able to do reporting. As well as, again, like we don't know what they're up to right now. They're probably not still doing ex-con. He could easily be working for PIM Laboratories, which again, having someone there, having someone there in the building where the science is happening.
Sure. But again, not the main characters
not the main
would be a
character.
little too suspicious.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have someone around who is able to get in, and is also kind of like, oh, I'm a lovable goof. You don't take me seriously. I love the Smiths, and is able to get in and like do that. He could work security there while still hanging out with Ant-Man and all the Van Dynes at night.
Okay. Question for you.
Yes.
Detective Danielle, when did the swap happen?
Okay.
Have we met a real human Luis, or has he been a
always.
Skrull the whole time?
We met a real human Luis because I would say even if you took his memories, there's no way that you would be able to fake the knowledge of how much Latino dudes love the Smiths.
Okay.
Like
so,
you just can't.
So,
it's science.
Skrulls can like the Smiths too.
No, they can, and I'm sure that they grew to love the Smiths. If you're seeing it through Luis's brain, you're like, oh my god, this is dope. Girlfriend in a coma. I do know. But
so you're saying
I think it happened during the snap.
Okay.
Okay, so you're saying Ant-Man 1, real Luis.
Yes.
And that took place in the year
okay.
2015.
Yes.
3 years later, Ant-Man and the Wasp, the second Ant-Man movie.
Yes.
Still real Luis. He had ex-con.
Yes.
He, and this was right before
The snap.
The snap, because
Literally right before.
literally right before. The events of this movie took place in like the week before Thanos snapped, because right at the end of that movie, everybody got snapped and Scott was stuck in the thing.
Heck of a week.
Here's what I want to bring up. You said it happened during the snap.
I would
he was
imagine
replaced.
so, yeah.
Here's what I want to bring up. When Scott Lang was borrowing Luis's van for that quantum field generator portal into the quantum realm, doing that experiment on top of the parking garage, the other three old heads and Hope Van Dyne get blipped, get snapped. Scott's stuck in there. When Scott comes out in Avengers Endgame, because the rat accidentally
Yes.
the van was impounded. The van was impounded, which implies Luis was also dusted. So,
Right.
was Luis human dusted, but at some point a Skrull was just like, hey, I'm Luis, and took his place?
Yes. That would be my guess.
Why didn't he get the van?
Because if Luis is dusted, they don't have. Actually, you know
They
what?
could never have fracked him?
Well,
They
they could never have gotten his memories.
Right.
Because he was dusted.
Implication.
Implication.
He could have been alive and they just impounded his van because, the world was
Well,
topsy-turvy
and the
after
Skrull's
the
not going to pay the parking.
I don't know.
I mean,
But-
that bin did end up on like a rooftop, which is already like.
Right.
Like, that can't be there.
I think it was the top of a parking garage.
Yeah, somebody
structure,
found it
but
up there.
someone
Yeah,
towed
someone
it.
found it. But
Yeah.
my guess would be that because folks know that Ant-Man's been hanging out with these dudes. It's not
He's
like it's
the
a
local
secret.
San Fran. Yep.
Yeah,
okay.
he's a local San Fran hero. They know who these guys are. One of them gets dusted. It's chaos. I think, in fact, getting dusted, I think, is a great way for a lot of Skrulls to infiltrate and do things. And at this point, you could easily just go up to, you could go up to any of them, go up to, again, the laboratories or anything and be like, hey, it's me, Luis. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, hey, we know you. Hey, I'm not working now because everybody got dusted. And they'll be like, oh, they loved you so much. Here, watch these cameras. And then he can, hackety hack and learn some of the stuff about everyone that he needs to know without necessarily having to go in and,
Right. And then even after, and again, if this is just the implication that Luis was dusted, but then after the blip, he's presumably has either been alive this whole time or he does come back. But you're saying that there's still a Skrull operative that like hacked PIM technology.
Because, like, look, whatever happened, it's pretty obvious that, like, him and Scott don't hang out no more because Scott got too big for his little ex-con friends when he started having his podcast.
He's on a book tour.
You might be right.
He's on a
You
book
might be
tour.
right. Okay.
Now, is it possible that a Skrull became a Skrull became the rat that opened up the quantum tunnel?
Why?
Because they find out that Luis A has a van and B that it has a quantum tunnel inside of it. And the Skrulls are like, we need to get that quantum
all
tunnel.
cool guys have a van.
Because we got to get that.
Why wouldn't he just be Luis to then walk up to the
Because then he has to pay. He has to pay to get it out.
Okay. So that you're saying that rat. Here's the thing.
He was just trying to be a rat to get into the building. Then he was going to change into Luis and drive it out.
We're also
but he hits the machine and opens up and he freaks out and he runs out of it.
We're also saying that Skrulls are cheap.
Skrulls are cheap. I'm saying that 1,000% that they're cheap.
Look,
we 1,000% cheap.
We can't forget that when Thanos snapped half of all human life, he also snapped half of all Skrull life.
All life.
So like the Skrulls were decimated.
They got snapped too.
They would also like to come bring their dads back or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So maybe the Skrull as a rat was being altruistic and was like, I need to get Ant-Man back.
Look, I know we love him.
I know.
This is a good one.
I know we adore him, but he feels like a sneak.
Like position.
You're right. He's close to the tech, but not a suspect that people would think about.
No.
That's very smart. That's very clever.
Wow.
Wow. These are 3 strong candidates. I don't vote against any.
You know what would be great? If we found out that Luis had been a Skrull or was a Skrull at some point because he shows up in Secret Invasion. But he just like does an info dump to like Gravik or something.
Right.
He's like, "Hey man, this is what happened." And then like,
don't you want it? You
and like
need
Gravik's like, "Oh, this Skrull again." He's like so into this whole thing, like just spit it out, man. And he's like, and then I was like, you know what? And then I saw this, and then I was like, you know what? I'm a Skrull.
Maybe he was evil, but then it turns out Luis has a dope life with a family and friends who loves him and like full hobbies. The man loves art. He's an appreciator of music. He's really into cubism, right?
Yeah.
Like he has.
There was a rosé that saved the day. It was sublime.
I don't know.
Hey, you know what, Gravik? At first, I was on your side, but then I was this guy for like a couple years, and you know what? Like, I love humans. Like, I love it. I love wine. I love cubism.
I want it. And I also
great.
just want more of. I love Luis so much. And I was really bummed that there were so few of like the ex-con family, and I know there's nowhere to put him in like the world of goo or whatever. But he was definitely but it was definitely like you can't. He was so much the heart of those movies.
I think he'll come back. I think that, look, man, San Francisco is not just home to Ant-Man, but it is also home to what other MCU
Shang-Chi
character? Thank you. So why can't Luis show up in Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings Part 2? Like, have him show up. How great would that be?
He's totally going to do hand in glove karaoke.
That's what I'm talking about.
I need it.
That'd be great. That would be great.
I'm B. Tyler in the chat saying, but what if the rat from Endgame was Kang the Conqueror?
That doesn't make any. Okay, sure.
Well, we do know that he remains.
Variants of
he
Kang.
wrote that rat to do that. It was part of the script. It's all part of the thing.
Could be.
LOL Suffocate saying, how far does the size aspect of Skrull shapeshifting go?
Yes.
Surely they can't be just any size.
This I want to talk
You're
about.
wrong!
This I want to talk about because I feel like I might be getting this confused with Terminator 2 Judgment Day lore.
Give it to me.
But I feel as though at one point back in the day, James Cameron answered this stupid ass question by basically being like, look, shapeshifting T-1000, right? Robert Patrick, he's going to be able to take the shape of anything sized human, roughly.
Right.
Could he be a chair? Yeah, if a human can kind of bend over and take up roughly that same amount of space in our world, he could be a chair. That's why when he's the floor, he spreads all the way out.
Right.
To be this big part of the checkered grid.
Yeah, he's not just a tiny little, he's not a nickel.
Yeah, exactly. Bloop. And then he also says something like he can't make a complicated mechanism
he can't make a machine
T-1000. That's why he's mostly blades. That's why he could blade people as they're drinking milk or,
Blade face
or whatever. So like he can't versus the rules of comic book character from the DC universe, Plastic Man. Plastic Man is impossible. He's like an imp from the fifth dimension, like Mr. McZipsel Spit. Like Plastic Man, he can put his hand into like a gun shape, and there's a full revolver, and there's a full like mechanical a chemical reaction that happens in his handgun, and he fires a bullet. Like it's impossible. It's impossible shit. So I feel like Skrulls probably adhere to that same T-1000 rule, right?
It would have to be, well, and I'm very interested to see, now that we're getting like into some Skrull stuff, that means eventually we're going to start getting into some super Skrull stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
what does that mean?
What does that mean in terms of how they're able to do that? I don't know if we'll even see that until Fantastic Four, who knows?
But
we have to get to the super Skrulls.
And that's why Gravik, at the end of episode 1 and throughout it, earlier, when he shapeshifted into that little girl, presumably, that's why she was holding a big ass ball. It's like
he can throw the ball,
but that's most of Gravik's mass.
So he has to get that ball back.
Yeah, quick,
He has to get his ball back.
That's his big old ball.
Yeah. Maybe
that's like if
we know in the comics too, like the Skrulls can be cows. They're famously turned into cows.
I mean, sure.
I believe in the comics the Skrulls get down to like cat size sometimes. I mean, they are disobeying the laws of physics. We know matter can be neither created nor destroyed.
Yes.
But somehow they're doing both.
Maybe it's a real hollow cow, but a real thick cat.
Real dense
cat.
Oh, you go to pick that cat up and it's like, why are you 200 pounds?
Yeah, this guy weighs 220 pounds.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I don't think we're going to see like a bird Skrull.
No.
They just
but maybe like a pterodon or something. That could be cool.
Could it be like a flock? Because like if the surfboard is something that can be in or out of your hands.
Oh man. That would be amazing.
I don't know. Well, let's hope they answer this question on the show.
Did the secret
Louise
life
will
of
turn into a block of seagulls.
Did the secret life of Alex Mack ever answer this with her Capri Sun shape-shifting metal liquid body?
She ever got tinier. I think
but
she
like
became
separate
the same amount of liquid.
Yeah, I think it was mostly just like a bunch of liquid on the ground, and then sometimes she could teach her friend how to remember how to play saxophone.
Cool.
Yeah. But the Transformers, they sometimes get bigger than the shape is.
No.
Mirage became a garbage truck, and you're not telling me that's all holograph. Unless it's like a hollow-ass garbage truck.
No, I think that is. Mirage specifically, we're talking Transformers Rise of the Beasts, if anybody is unfamiliar. Mirage specifically had hologram tech. That could absolutely be.
So you say it was a holographic garbage truck?
Or it could be a very.
Just the base.
It could be a very hollow garbage truck.
Hollow. You knocked on it.
Or the metal on there could be incredibly thick, and so then when it like comes off, it's like stripping off.
I don't know. He makes so many. His size changed a lot on the show.
But I think the hologram might be their way out.
Well, that's not polite to mention.
Well, and someone needs to tell them the truth.
You never ask a Transformer their weight
or their age,
or their weight, because it's millions of years old from Cybertron.
Yeah.
And their weight, that's none of your business. Don't ask.
Can I ask them their fuel type? Am I allowed to do that?
I remember when the first Transformers movie came out, directed by Michael Bay. Boo.
That was not the first Transformers.
I mean, the first live action. Thank you. Good point. Was 2007, and I remember like visual effects behind the scenes, where VFX artists were like, we actually built out the working mechanism of every piece of Optimus Prime and folded it into the shape of a real truck so that it would all fit in there. And they would show like almost like the skeleton inside the truck, and it was little Optimus folded in, almost like he was like a real toy.
Adorable.
And then I think by the 5th Transformers movie, they had bad guy Transformers going boop, 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 and like popping in and out of. They're all bad.
They're like, screw this.
But Rise of the Beast was cool.
Well, folks, we presented our suspects to you, and the chat voted Lewis. Most likely by a very narrow margin.
First of all, it's Luis. It's not Lewis.
Who's Lewis?
Lewis would be like Louis.
It's Parker Lewis can't lose. That's what they meant.
That's a Skrull if I've ever seen it. Hi, I'm Lewis. I'm friends with Ant-Man. Get out of here.
Listen, I'm a Skrull. This is my first day reading Earth language. English? I don't know. But I think these are all strong candidates. I do think Luis could be a Skrull now.
Honestly, I'd have thought Val would have been a slam dunk, but y'all, chat, you proved me wrong. It's Luis.
I think Val is great.
It's so obvious.
But it's so obvious.
Yeah.
It makes the most sense.
I think you're right.
It makes too much sense.
I think you're right.
Well, that's it for today.
Morgan Stark. Sorry.
Morgan Stark always a Skrull?
Yeah.
Like a Skrull crawled up inside of
like
Papa
Pepper slept with a Skrull. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Not knowing. Which means Morgan is maybe Happy Hogan's daughter.
Oh.
But Pepper, scandalous.
At least a cousin or a niece or something. Well, that's it for today's Skrull Search. Make sure to give us a follow right here on Twitch and subscribe to the Breakroom channel on YouTube, where you can catch cutdowns and replays of all of our streams, as well as exclusive content and celebrity interviews. We got a lot of hot stuff coming on the channel. It's another week of Secret Invasion. Check out the Secret Invasion breakdown for episode 2 coming out on the channel on Wednesday. Thank you guys for tuning in today. We'll catch you next time. Laters, guys. Adios.